Hi, I'm Joe Burgo, and this is the second part in my video series about psychodynamic psychotherapy. So in the first video I talked about the initial consultation, and in this video I'm going to talk about the early weeks and the sort of issues that come up. Now, I think about these early sessions, apart from the fact that we're both getting to know one another and feel more comfortable with each other, there's a lot of education going on. And I don't mean like a lecture or anything, but it's in the process as we go along. I'm trying to explain how psychodynamic psychotherapy works and what makes it different from other kinds of therapy. I won't be saying that in so many words, but I'm going to be trying to explain to you that my job is to make the unconscious conscious. That's what's different about psychodynamic psychotherapy, and it's really different from other kinds of therapy if you think about it. I mean, the predominant points of view these days are psychiatric meds, which is about correcting a chemical imbalance, or cognitive behavioral theory, which is about correcting faulty or maladaptive ways of thinking. Psychodynamic psychotherapy is about introducing you to parts of yourself, feelings that you have that you may not be aware of. Now, the way that I do that is by listening to things that you say and hearing in them things you don't realize you're saying. That often involves making connections between different things that don't seem related on the surface. You could be talking about something that happened at work and then go on and later on talk about something that went on between you and your brother when you were kids, and there might not seem to be any connection, but if I hear something, then I can say, well, this is what I think you're saying. If it means something to you, if it feels like that has value and sheds some light, then that's a useful interpretation. If not, then either I'm wrong, or it'll come up again later and there'll be more convincing evidence. Making the unconscious conscious often involves introducing you to feelings that you don't realize that you have. Anger is a big one of them. Anger comes up a lot, unconscious anger, especially when depression is the issue. But you could be feeling lots of things that you're not aware you're feeling, like fear or anxiety, jealousy or envy. There's lots of things, and it's my job to bring them to light. The other thing that I'm trying to introduce, a new idea that I'm trying to introduce in these early weeks, is a way of thinking about yourself as if you were a collection of different people living in the same body. People with intentions, intelligence. They act in relationship to one another, that you're not simply, a monolithic single person. Now, I don't think that idea is all that alien to many of us. Transactional analysis, people are familiar with that idea, the parent, child, and adult parts of you, which is based in turn on another idea that most people know, Freud's model of the superego, ego, and id. These ideas have value, but they often end up sounding kind of concrete or mechanistic, or to me they often sound kind of sentimental. When people talk about their inner child, it's often in a kind of a nice way, like that's the nice part of you, or the authentic you, or the real you. Where in my experience, the child part of you is often like a really bratty side of you who causes a lot of trouble, wants his way all the time, sabotages your more adult efforts. So I'm trying to get you to think about yourself as a collection of people. The inner critic, that's another idea that most people are familiar with. And it's not just a voice, it's a part of you that has intention and acts willfully in relation to other parts of you. That's a big part of thinking about yourself that goes on in psychodynamic psychotherapy. The third thing that we'll be talking about is how change occurs and what's possible. Most people come in wanting to rid themselves of something. They're in pain and they naturally want to get rid of it. or they want to triumph over depression or, heal. Now, these are ways that we're all used to thinking, and you hear them in the media and you see them in self-help books. I think a little bit differently. Actually, it's a lot differently. One of the ideas that I try and get across early on is that you can't get rid of anything that's part of you. If you have developed a personality that's based on relationships you had with other people, and now you have parts of yourself that are like your parents inside of you, you can't get rid of those. You can't, surgically excise them and get them out, as much as you might want to. Now, what is possible is to develop other parts of yourself, to grow and strengthen the healthier parts of you, for instance, so that you can cope with that angry child side of you a lot better, where you could, manage yourself, set better limits, make better choices. The real goal of making something unconscious conscious is to give yourself a choice that you don't really have otherwise. When you're unconscious of certain feelings and motives, you really don't have any ability to control them. They tend to rule you. So, in making the unconscious conscious, in introducing you to the different parts of yourself so that you become aware of them, and in getting a more realistic idea of what change involves and what's really possible, then the real work of psychotherapy goes on. That's how I see the first weeks of psychotherapy. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about the early manifestations of the transference. That is, all of your typical ways of behaving and relating that apply to other people and outside relationships, how they're going to start to show up between us in our working relationship, and how we use that to develop a deeper understanding of who you are and how you work. So I'll talk about that next time. Thanks for watching.